me, John Corcoran. We're here at RetailX live again in Chicago, and I'm here with Zak Normandin, and he's from Iris Nova. And Zak, tell us a little bit about what you guys do.
So we're a direct-to-consumer beverage company. We sell a portfolio of beverages direct-to-consumer through a technology platform that we developed, which is all over text message. So our first brand, Dirty Lemon, we launched in 2015, all via text message. And then we also have a retail component to our business called the drugstore, which is all enabled by the technology that we developed, which runs the core business.
This is fascinating. Exclusively via text message. So tell me, how does that work? Where do the customers come from? Start from the beginning. So where are the customers? How do you find the customers that are interested in the products?
So we started advertising originally on Facebook and Instagram. So we were using digital customer channel or just digital acquisition channels to acquire customers. And we've shifted now to more traditional advertising.
But still just text message.
So the only way that consumers can purchase our products direct from us is over text message. Okay. We do sell in some strategic wholesale channels, so places like Soho House, Barry's Boot Camp. We're in a lot of hospitality type channels, but we look at those more as marketing opportunities to allow customers the opportunity to buy a single bottle of one of our products.
Okay, so this is really interesting. So you put an ad out there and it advertises your product and it says, text us at this number, and then what happens next?
Yeah, so the way it works is we have what would be viewed as a traditional e-commerce backend, but what happens when you place your first order is it connects your phone number to a customer profile. So anytime that you want to reorder the product in the future, you just send us a text message, your account gets pulled up on our back end, and then you have all the information there, or the customer service rep has all the information to process the order. So it's as simple as saying, I want a case of X beverage, and then the order is processed, and then we're delivering same day or next day in every US market. So we're at very, very fast deliveries. Our goal this year is to actually beat Amazon Prime on shipping speeds. And then a frictionless ordering process that allows customers to order at their own pace without having to wait in a line or deal with any a lot of the friction points that happen in traditional retail.
So why not allow people to buy through a website or Amazon or something like that? Why only via text message?
So if you look at the history of the beverage industry started really in pharmacies. So pharmacists would prescribe carbonated drinks to their clients or their customers based on their different varying needs. And what we've built is a system that's bringing the industry back to its roots, and that personal connection, that one-on-one connection that the brand owner has with the consumer, we think is very important. And I think if you look at over the last 100 years, with the addition of distributors and brokers and retailers into the mix, brands have gotten farther and farther away from their customers. And we're looking to bring it back and through that process build a data set around consumption behavior in the beverage space and use technology to better inform our decisions around new brands that we're launching, how consumers are accessing the products, etc. Because we think that the industry is changing dramatically, and consumers are coming to expect that they're going to have products delivered to their homes. The data around this is staggering. Almost 70% of millennial consumers by 2021 will be purchasing all of their groceries online, which is really fascinating. So we want to take advantage of that and build infrastructure that supports, just like Coca-Cola and Pepsi, we want to have a portfolio of brands underneath one parent company, and then have data on purchasing behavior and consumption behavior that allows us to provide them a better experience.
Is the plan to continue developing your own brands, or is the plan to provide the technology to other brands?
Yeah, so we started with a brand of our own, and we will continue to create other brands that we own fully. But we just announced over the last couple of days that we're going to be investing $100 million over the next 3 to 5 years in emerging beverage brands. So the portfolio will consist of both brands that we own fully, and then brands that we're also that we're investing in minority stakes into companies, and then allowing that the technology to be a value add for our investment.
So what other changes are you seeing in the retail e-commerce landscape that are affecting consumer behavior right now?
So I think in large part consumers are desensitized to brands. I think that consumers are very transient in their their purchasing decisions. And the reason why is because there's a lot of brands and there's a lot of options out there for them. So I think that brands need to do a lot to stand out, and also with the rise of direct-to-consumer brands that are trying to bypass retail, the marketplace has become very cluttered, to acquire customers and acquire them at a reasonable price. So we think by pooling data at one level and giving a portfolio of like-minded brands all access to that data, with the sole intention of providing the customer a better experience, that we can bypass a lot of those challenges and struggles that brands are having now to achieve scale.
So the idea is dominate beverages first and move to other categories.
Yeah, we're very focused on beverages. So non-alcoholic beverages are expected to be a $2 trillion industry in the next 3 years. And that total, it's largely held by Coca-Cola and Pepsi. And so the beverage industry is an incredibly there's an incredible opportunity there to do something disruptive in the industry and to really challenge the standards that have been established by the larger players. And but the technology that we've built it's not necessarily unique to beverage. I mean, there's a lot of other commodity products that could be purchased in the same way. I think one thing that conversation doesn't allow for is extreme variability in products. So I'm not expecting that people will ever buy cars over text message or even clothing. I think that people want to see photos and actually be able to touch and learn more about the product. But for products that are high velocity and that are a little bit more frequent use, this is an incredible means to connect with consumers and enable a very fast transaction.
So in terms of right now, what amount of the communication, the conversation is human, what amount is AI powered, and also in the future, how far do you see that going in terms of implementing AI into those conversations?
So about half of the conversations right now are handled by a very robust bot that we've developed over the years. Wow. We purchased a company last year. It was named the world's best chatbot. And we purchased that company and we rolled their technology into our system. And then on the other side of that, we have 24/7 live customer service. So customers, if they say something or if they ask a question that falls outside of the logic that we created for the bot, that conversation gets pushed to live customer service, and then a customer service rep will handle that conversation.
Got it. Do you see that ramping up over time? Or has it ramped up over time? In terms of the percent of AI versus percent of human?
I think as our natural language processing continues to improve, I don't see there being a significant spike beyond that 50-50 split between conversations that are handled by the system and then conversations that are handled by a rep. But I think ultimately for the customers that that know exactly what they want and they just want to complete the purchase, the bot enables them to do that with very, very fast in just a couple text messages. For anyone else, if you have other questions, it gets obviously pushed to a live customer service rep, and we think that that combination of both is probably the way that customer service is going to scale across a variety of customer service in the messaging space will likely happen like that. I don't think it'll ever be 100% bots replying to customers, because the way that we communicate over these platforms changes too, or is changing. People use emojis, they use abbreviated words, and incorporating all of those into our language base for processing different requests, it becomes very complicated. So there's definitely a series of keywords and different things that we can use to prompt the customer to go down that path of the more simplistic bot-driven approach. But we have an alternative way if they fall outside of that. So.
What else are you excited about or keeping your eye on in terms of changes in the e-commerce landscape in the years ahead?
It's a very interesting time to be building a brand and to be, if you look at, CPG and the entire retail landscape, it's dominated by a lot of sleepy legacy players that have been doing the same thing for a very long time. And I think this is the first time that brands really do have advantage to challenge those systems. And so we're just looking at, really across the board. Any new technology is not only happening here in the States, but we were looking at other international markets where, there's unique ways of selling, or, other adjacent industries. I think the fashion industry and the beauty industry are both, years ahead of where the beverage and food and beverage space is right now, in the way that they, develop new products, the way that they're using data to inform their decisions around products that they're launching. We're just trying to be really open-minded about the industry, because there really is no playbook for the next 3 to 5 years. And I think that if you look, in the past, a lot of big brands that were built were all following the same playbook that, other brands before them had followed. But it's really changing. It's changing too fast now where that doesn't exist.
Zak, Iris Nova is the name of the company. Dirty Lemon is the name of the product. Where else can people learn about you?
So irisnova.com is the website, or dirtylemon.com.
Really interesting what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
We're going to be continuing to do interviews all day here from RetailX in Chicago. Thanks so much.